The coffee shop buzzed with the murmur of conversations and the clatter of cups. He sat alone, lost in the pages of his book. Then she walked in. Their eyes met. A fleeting glance, a spark of recognition. It could have been innocent, easily dismissed. But beneath the surface, a dangerous current stirred. The air crackled with unspoken desire. In that single look, a seed was sown, a seed of lust that threatened to bloom into destruction. Jesus warned us about moments like this, moments when our hearts are tested, not just by what we do, but by what we desire in the quiet corners of our minds. He understood the human condition, the silent battles we fight when no one else is watching. In the stillness, when we are alone with our thoughts, temptation can creep in, subtle and persistent, challenging our resolve and our faith. He spoke not just of actions, but of the heart's hidden intentions. Jesus knew that the seeds of sin are sown long before any outward act is committed. He called us to examine not only what we do, but what we allow to take root within us. The secret thoughts, the fleeting glances, the desires we nurture in the shadows. You have heard it said, he declared, "You shall not commit adultery." This commandment was familiar, a boundary set to protect hearts and relationships. But Jesus went deeper, challenging us to look beyond the surface, to the very source of our actions. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. That's from Matthew chapter 5, verses 27 and 28. With these words, Jesus revealed that sin is not just an outward act, but an inward condition. The battle is fought in the mind and the heart, where no one else can see. Lust, you see, is not merely a physical act. It is a seed planted deep within, watered by unchecked thoughts and secret fantasies. It grows quietly, often unnoticed, until it bears fruit in our lives, sometimes in ways we never intended. It's a fire that ignites in the mind, a spark that can quickly become a consuming blaze if left unattended. It starts small, a glance, a thought, a daydream, but it can grow into something that overtakes our will and clouds our judgment. A longing that festers in the secret places of our hearts. It can shape our desires and influence our choices. Left unchecked, it can lead us down paths we never meant to travel, away from the light and into the shadows. It whispers seductive lies, promising pleasure and fulfillment, telling us that what we crave will finally satisfy the emptiness inside. It assures us that no one will know, that a secret longing can do no harm. But these are deceptions, designed to ensnare us. But its promises are empty, its rewards fleeting. What begins as a moment of pleasure often ends in disappointment, loneliness, and regret. The satisfaction it offers is shallow, leaving us hungrier than before. Its embrace is a suffocating cage, trapping us in cycles of guilt and shame. Yet even in our struggle, there is hope. Jesus calls us not to condemnation, but to freedom. A freedom that begins with honesty, repentance, and the courage to bring our hidden struggles into the light. The danger of lust lies in its subtlety. It starts with a seemingly harmless thought, a fleeting image, a moment of unguarded curiosity. But like a serpent's whisper, it slithers into our minds, planting seeds of temptation that can quickly grow into a thicket of desire. We entertain these thoughts, allowing them to take root and blossom. What begins as a flicker can erupt into an inferno, consuming everything in its path. Consider John. He's the kind of man you might pass on the street and never think twice about. But to those who know him, he's so much more. A devoted husband, a loving father, and the steady anchor of his family. John's laughter filled the halls of his home, and his gentle words soothed the worries of his children. He was the one who always remembered birthdays, who never missed a school play, and who made sure his family felt safe and cherished. Beyond his front door, John was a respected member of his community. He volunteered at local events, lent a helping hand to neighbors in need, and was known for his integrity and kindness. People trusted him, admired him, and often turned to him for advice or support. He had built a good life, one that many would envy. His home was filled with warmth and laughter, and his marriage was a partnership built on trust and mutual respect. Together, he and his wife navigated life's challenges, always emerging stronger. John's days were filled with purpose and meaning. He found fulfillment in his work, pride in his children's accomplishments, and joy in the simple moments shared around the dinner table. Life, it seemed, was exactly as it should be. But then, something changed. Lust crept in quietly, almost imperceptibly at first. It began innocently enough, a fleeting moment that seemed harmless. A passing glance at a coworker, a brief spark of attraction that he quickly brushed aside. That glance, however, planted a seed. He found himself thinking about her more often, replaying small interactions in his mind. What started as a momentary distraction soon became a persistent thought. He dismissed it at first, telling himself it was nothing, just a harmless fantasy. But the image lingered, refusing to fade away. The more he tried to ignore it, the more it seemed to grow. He found himself daydreaming at work, his mind wandering when it should have been focused. The image of his coworker became a constant presence, intruding on his thoughts at the most unexpected moments. Soon, fleeting thoughts turned into lingering fantasies. He began to seek out opportunities to see her, to talk to her, even if just for a moment. The more he indulged these thoughts, the stronger the pull became. It was as if a door had been opened, and he couldn't close it again. His work began to suffer. He missed deadlines, made careless mistakes, and found it harder and harder to concentrate. At home, he grew distant and irritable. Arguments with his wife became more frequent, and the easy laughter that once filled their home was replaced by tension and silence. He withdrew from his family, spending more time alone, lost in his thoughts. His children noticed the change, sensing that something was wrong, but not understanding why their father seemed so far away. His heart became consumed by the object of his desire. The consequences were devastating. His marriage, once strong and loving, began to crumble under the weight of secrets and lies. His wife, heartbroken and confused, struggled to understand what had happened to the man she once knew. His children, caught in the crossfire, were left hurt and bewildered. The stability they had always known was gone. At work, rumors spread, and his reputation, once spotless, was tarnished. Eventually, he lost his job, forced to pack up his desk and leave behind the life he had worked so hard to build. John's story is a stark reminder that lust is not a victimless crime. It can start with a single thought, a single moment of weakness, but its effects can ripple outward, touching every aspect of a person's life. Its tendrils reach far and wide, ensnaring not just the one who gives in, but everyone around them. The pain and brokenness it leaves behind can last for years, even a lifetime. In the end, John was left alone, surrounded by the wreckage of the life he once cherished. His story is a powerful warning. The choices we make in moments of weakness can have consequences far beyond what we ever imagined, leaving a trail of brokenness and pain that is not easily healed. The allure of lust is powerful, promising instant gratification, a taste of forbidden fruit. But, its sweetness is fleeting, quickly replaced by a bitter aftertaste. The pleasure, if you can call it that, is shallow and short-lived. And the price? Well, it can cost you everything. Lust leaves behind a wasteland of shattered dreams, broken relationships, and deep regret. Those who chase its empty promises often find themselves lost and alone, haunted by the consequences of their choices. Lust operates in the shadows, a thief in the night stealing joy, peace, and integrity. It disguises itself as something desirable, even exciting. But its true nature is insidious, destructive. It preys on our vulnerabilities, exploiting our weaknesses. It whispers that we deserve pleasure, that our needs are not being met, that we are somehow entitled to satisfy our every desire. But these are lies, seductive whispers designed to lure us into its trap. So how do we guard ourselves against this insidious enemy? How do we protect our hearts and minds from the seductive allure of lust? The first step is awareness. Recognize the danger signs, the subtle temptations that can lead us astray. Be mindful of the thoughts you entertain, the images you allow into your mind. Just as a vigilant guard protects a city's gates, we must stand watch over our senses, guarding against anything that might compromise our integrity. We are not alone in this battle. Every one of us, at some point in our lives, faces struggles that seem insurmountable. It's easy to feel isolated, as if no one else could possibly understand the weight we carry or the temptations we face. But the truth is, we are surrounded by others who are walking similar paths, fighting similar battles, and seeking the same hope and healing. When we come together in prayer and unity, we find strength in our shared faith and encouragement in our collective journey. God, in His infinite mercy, offers us strength and guidance. He does not leave us to navigate life's challenges on our own. Through His Word, He speaks directly to our hearts, reminding us that His love is steadfast and His wisdom is available to all who seek it. When we feel weak, He is our source of power. When we are confused, He provides clarity and direction. His Word is a lamp unto our feet, illuminating the path to purity and righteousness. The Scriptures are filled with promises and instructions that guide us away from darkness and toward the light of His truth. As we meditate on His teachings, we discover the steps we need to take to live lives that honor Him, even when the world around us pulls us in other directions. Spend time in prayer, seeking His wisdom and guidance. Prayer is not just a ritual, but a lifeline, a direct connection to our Creator. In moments of silence and reflection, we can pour out our hearts, confess our struggles, and ask for the strength to overcome. God listens, and He responds with comfort, peace, and the assurance that we are never alone. Surround yourself with a community of believers who can offer support and accountability. We were never meant to walk this journey in isolation. True friends and fellow believers can lift us up when we stumble, celebrate our victories, and gently correct us when we stray. Together we can build each other up, share our burdens, and remind one another of God's promises. Remember, temptation is common to all. No one is immune to moments of weakness or doubt. It's important to recognize that struggling does not make us failures. It makes us human. By acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we open ourselves to God's healing and the support of those around us. But God is faithful, and He will not allow us to be tempted beyond what we can bear. He always provides a way out, a path to victory, even in our darkest moments. His faithfulness is our anchor, and His promises are our shield. With His help, we can resist the siren song of lust and walk in the freedom of purity. Each day is a new opportunity to choose His way, to embrace His grace, and to live in the light of His truth. As we trust in Him, we find the courage to overcome, the strength to persevere, and the joy that comes from living a life set apart for His glory. This is a call to action, a call to courage and hope. Do not be discouraged by past failures, but rise up with renewed determination. Stand firm against the onslaught of temptation, knowing that victory is possible through Christ. Choose to live a life of integrity, a life that honors God and reflects His love to the world. Let us encourage one another, standing together as brothers and sisters in arms, united in our pursuit of purity and righteousness. The battle is real, but the victory is assured.